What is going on? How's not day? What's going on, everyone? Ladies and gentlemen of Prestige, those 8 of you that are here right now, I just want to say thank you. All right, thank you. Clearly, obviously, you value what we do here, and I want to appreciate you. Okay, I want to appreciate you especially because I don't take it for granted. Especially if you were just in the group, all right, on WhatsApp, and you were chopping it up for me. Okay, do me a favor, make sure you join the WhatsApp group. I need some more smoke in there. Okay. Number one, I'm not always going to be correct. I want you to be clear about that. Okay. Number two, at least I'm not always going to be able to communicate my points clearly. Okay, I want you to be clear about that. Just like the rest of you, sometimes my thoughts are a little bit all over the place. Sometimes I have to pull some of my thoughts back. If you can hear me clearly, please say something. Let me just say, hey, loud and clear. Let's get to that first, right? But again, make sure you join the WhatsApp group. And as you're coming in, hit that like button. Tell everybody that we're here. Can you hear me? D Love already commented like before we started the show. Hello fam, patiently waiting. Shout out to you, D Love. And shout out to our brand new I need to turn up the background music for you. Okay, a brand new member. The membership is open. Okay, you can join the member for as low as almost nothing. Okay, just as your way of supporting. Thank you so much, Gorex Corner. Thank you so much for being a supporter. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It means a lot. And please go ahead and support her. She's also, I checked out some of your content. She's creating content on her end as well. Gorex Corner. All right. Yep. So what are we doing today? Let me turn up a little bit on that. All right. So we're still on our sister platform, Antibeast platform. There's a show that's heated up, that's still going on right now as I speak right now. So a lot of our brothers and sisters are over there, which is fine. The show must go on. We have something to talk about here today, and we're going to do exactly that. Okay. So shout out to everyone. Hey Isabel, good to see you, Isabel. Isabel said no, the show must go on. How am Brother Patrick? I said, yes, you're right. I just corrected my head instantly, straight, But yeah, Sunshine, good to see you. She said, of course, now you are human. Exactly, So please, I need some smoke. Go join, bring some smoke because iron sharpens irons, right? Bring some smoke. Come over there. Even me to collect what on top of Obasi today, and which is fine, but I think we're gonna have to create a show around that, and TB will allow us to do a show around that. We'll do it on her platform, because that's gonna be a great topic, obviously, right? So go join the Prestige family on WhatsApp right now. Don't wait. You can see it scrolling on the screen. Hit that like button as you're coming in. All right. Fixed Net says loud and clear. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gorex. I think the show is still on. The Boss Bass. Yes, that show is still on. Auntie B does what she does best. We do something entirely different here. But we need all of it. Like I was telling, I don't know who that person was inside of the group. I was telling that person that no, she gets to title her show how she wants to title her show. That's just the reality, okay? It's a show. Remember, it's a show, okay? It's a show first, okay? So I will do the same thing here sometimes. I will have some quote-unquote clickbaity thing going on, because it's a show, It's not a therapy session. If you want a therapy session, you know exactly what you need to do. You need a coaching session. You know what you need to do. If you don't already know what to do, it's right there. Start with the book. download the book for free. Okay, read the book first. Okay, as a matter of fact, I suggest people to read the book 10 to 15 times. You're probably not going to need a counseling session or coaching session. Okay, I don't do therapy, just so you know. Okay, so if you have some serious issues going on, in my opinion, those two people on the other show going on right now, they need not coaching and counseling, they need therapy. Okay, and I pray for every single one of you that you're here right now that you will not encounter anyone like both. Okay, I have empathy for the young lady because she's a woman in this society. It's a very dangerous society. I'm being honest with you. You know, should men have the same protection from what? Okay, if we have men and women and children, from what are we talking about, right? What kind of protection are you asking for outside of from God? Because if you're asking for everybody else, I think yeah, it could work. So even the empathy is not helpful because we live in a ecosystem, right? So the ecosystem is exactly what it is. It has to be balanced, and there's going to be casualties, you know, and you can protect yourself from that, you know. So, Ola, please, I hope you don't feel down. No, like, no. We're going to do a show about that. If I feel down, what kind of example is that? Right? No, not at all, you know, not at all. We need iron sharpened iron. Okay, we need that. Like I said earlier, it's either I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, which is possible, or I didn't communicate properly, which can be hard because it's only so much. That's why we do this show every day. There's only so much you can cover in a short period of time when emotions are all over the place. Okay, you saw what's going on over there when the emotions are all over the place, right? Everyone is right. Right? Everyone is right. You know what I'm saying? So
you're right.
I'm easy. Take a deep breath. You know, some of you are in the back channel say, Ola, let's do the show because you know that you needed something a little bit calmer. And now we're here. I showed up, right? Good to see you. Good to see you. I felt guilty of not correcting you last night. No. And I don't think I was wrong. I don't think I was wrong, you know. Obasi is absolutely it's exactly what I said. But only time will tell. Okay? Only time will tell. Yep, this is a show, not a therapy session. Keep that at the back of your mind. You need coaching, you know exactly. I offer. My wife and I offer coaching. We offer that, but you have to read the book first. It's a prerequisite. We're not. If you don't read the book, is literally free. So I don't know what to tell you. You know. So anyway, so let's get to it. Today we're getting back to our show as usual. Should divorce be on the table or not? Let me hear what you say about it. What do you say about this? Should divorce be on the table or not? Before there was actual divorce, you know, obviously for people that have gone through divorce, that's an easy answer. Yes, it should be on the table, right? Yes, it should be on the table. I bet that's what everyone is saying, right? Hit that like button, okay? Should divorce be on the table? If you are a divorcee, you know, pretend like you're not one. Okay, for a second and answer that question. Did you really feel that way when you were married? At least answer from that standpoint, right? Should divorce be on the table? That's the question that I have for you. I've got a few videos that we're going to react to, by the way. So it's going to be another fantastic show as usual. It's going to be one of our best shows, okay? Should divorce be on the table if you're in a marriage? Okay, should that be an option? Right? You know, you saw the, let me see if I can pull it up. You saw the thumbnails. The thumbnail says demonizing the D. That's the D word, divorce. You know, everyone is scared of the D word until they find themselves in the poto, right? Should divorce be an option? I want to know what you have to say about this before I get into it. We have tons of videos to respond to. So please say something about this. Should divorce be on the table? Should this be an option? Or do you think it depends? Or what exactly is going through your mind right now? Share that in the comment area. What is going through your mind with regards to this? Should divorce be on the table? What do you say about this? Let me see here. Where is this thing? Where is it? Where is it? I need to share something and it's not showing up. Oh, did I close it? I think I closed it. Okay, there you go. Let's go back to, should divorce be an option? It's a trick question, I know, but just share your thoughts with me. I want to know what you have to say about this. Should divorce be an option if you are in a marriage? If you are not yet married, but you're going to a marriage too, you can answer that question. Should divorce be an option? Is the question. Demonizing the D. Demonizing the D. Let me take this banner off the screen. Demonizing the D. The church continues to demonize the divorce, right? Should it be an option? Should it be on the table? Should that be part of the discussion? A lot of you want to have the discussion. You want to talk about everything. Communication, right? Let's talk about everything, right? Should divorce be an option? That's the question that we're answering tonight, right? We have a BASKETMOUTH on the screen. BASKETMOUTH and his family. BASKETMOUTH this year, unfortunately, a few days ago, like what was it, like 2 weeks ago or less, he announced that he and his wife are separated and going their separate ways. They filed divorce, and then the wife came out the following day and started advising people, girlfriends, on whether they should cook for their boyfriends or not. She never really gave us her own take, right? So, but they are going their separate ways. Sadly, there's a divorce. But there's a video clip. Funny enough, I am a fan of that particular channel. I think it's called In the First 5 Years or something like that. I haven't seen their video in a while, maybe because I didn't engage it, right? So it's basically couples telling their first 5 years. I saw BASKETMOUTH there and his wife. I think I've seen what's the name? Odukoya's is it Odukoya? Pastor Odukoya's son, the actor, right? And his wife. Who else? A few couples that I follow now that I saw on that platform for the first time, basically sharing their experience in their first 5 years of marriage. I thought it was good because anytime that people get to discuss how this actually plays out in real life, it's very helpful. You don't get that often. What you get is the end of it or before. So a bunch of people that are opinionated about marriage before, and a bunch of people that are opinionated about marriage when it doesn't work out. So that's what you get. So that's why my wife and I do the Lola and Ola platform, where we just have a conversation between each other, so you can experience what that feels like. And we do push against each other when it's necessary. It's very difficult because we're kind of like in a space right now that it's very difficult to find us pushing against each other. But if we have a difference in opinion, we offer that. And we do have differences of opinions, So it's a good platform to watch. The link is on the channel. Or you could just search for Lola and Ola on YouTube. We release 1 or 2 videos per week. Okay. All right. So should this be one of the things you should talk about? So basically, they were talking on that show, and they were talking about their first 5 years, and the question popped up that is divorce on the table, and that's what created tonight's topic. And I thought it was a fantastic topic for us to kind of calm things down from all the Yule and the May and the Judys and the Sarahs and the, what was it again? Akudayas of the world, right? Let's calm down a little bit. Let's bring it back in-house. Let's talk a little bit and see if we can extract some lessons out of this. So I'm going to play that video for you, and then we'll take the video of BASKETMOUTH and the wife answering this question: should divorce be on the table? Isabel says, unfortunately, yes. And Gorek's Corner says, yes, it should. D-Love says, unfortunately, it's an option. Make we no go buy for bad situationship, I beg. Gorek's Corner says, when we were growing up, divorce shouldn't be in the table, but now, yes, it should be at the edge of the table. Thank you for adding some context to that. Let's see. except he was going around. Oh, we're talking about the other persons. Yeah. By the way, unless I get the other side of that story, I don't think I will have an opinion on it. It's just not enough. Okay, and it will come off as I'm judging at least one of the sides, and I don't want to do that. I have the video. I wanted to react to it, but I heard they're doing strike or copyright, so I back off of now. Oh, I hear you. Well, I'm gonna react to it. Because we're doing it within now. What's their name, Gonself? I'll give them a shout out. But no, they don't have the right to be doing strike. They can get their own channel pulled down for if we're using that within the fair use guidelines. Let's see here. I don't think I'm on Lola and Ola's show. Yeah, just search it. It comes right up. Shout out to Lola and Ola, Ed Boy and Ed Girl be that. Thank you, gracious greatness. Shout out to you. I throw away salute to all of you now. Okay, so good to see you, bro. Let's get into this. Hit that like button. Okay. Let's play the video, but let me make sure that I have the proper things on the screen before we get into it. What's their name again? 5 years in marriage or something like that. Oh God, they are doing strikes. Don't worry. Let's see. Yeah. So, yep, Wedding Channel Africa TV. That's their name. All right, good. So let's give them a shout out. Let's do the right thing. I don't have to do that, but I do it anyway. Just to shout out. It makes the conversation full when we reference everybody else having their conversation in their own way. So it's called Wedding Channel Africa TV, something like that, right? Wedding Channel Africa TV. Yeah. Anyway, so one of the issues in life that people have in life is hogging up anything. Yoruba people call it anwayimaya. If you're doing stuff like that in any sense, you'll be the loser last, okay? Because you're basically spending a certain amount of energy that it takes for you to hog up on anything. But it's that much energy that you're taking away from attracting the right things. So, for example, marriage. I love marriage, you know that, right? I love marriage. But unfortunately, I can't advise anyone to hug up on marriage because, again, marriage is a fantastic institution. It operates under a certain set of principles if you want it to operate properly. And part of those principles is the ability to be able to adapt with the times. If you can't adapt with the times, if you're stuck on 1960 principles of marriage, you'll collect. And especially if you interpret what I just said as Ola says soften up. Just hear anything that anybody says and just adjust. Don't have your own morals. If that's how you interpret what I just said, exactly why you collect. There's no avoiding it. There's no you can't help. Even me talking right now can't help you because you're still stubborn and you can't hear what I'm saying. Okay? Until you fall on your face and you bruise yourself up until you hit rock bottom, you're not going to be able to comprehend what I just said. But I'll repeat it for those in the back who can comprehend it. Okay? Your ability to adapt in a real world is essentially what the marriage institution will test you for. Okay? And secondly, if you interpret what I just said as it means I got to, be soft and be meek and not speak anything and be a doormat. If that's how you interpreted that, I know why you're interpreting it that way. It's because you haven't hit rock bottom yet. And you will. And it's not an indictment, it's not a curse that you will. You just can't comprehend what I just said. You're not able to. You think you still have other options outside of adapting in a real dangerous world. Why is it dangerous? It's supposed to be a marriage protect you because your husband is a human being. Okay, your husband is a human being, and if your husband and your wife is a human being, they're not always going to be able to express their emotions in the way that you can receive it. And if you're not able to understand that, guess what you would do? You overreact, right? And when you overreact, guess what that looks like in real life? What that looks like in real life is that you will just, it's both glass. Okay, it's just both glass. Okay, so it's not a good idea. But let's get to it. So I do think the church, especially, demonizes divorce, and because of that, you actually get to attract what you fear the most. That's how real life works. In real life, you attract what you fear the most. Let me say that for everyone in the back. Okay. In real life, you attract what you fear the most. Okay? In real life, you attract what you fear the most. Process that. Fear is not necessarily a bad thing. It's neither good nor bad. It's something we will all do, regardless of who you are or where you're coming from. Okay? Fear is a real thing. Okay? All of us will have fear sometimes. We're afraid to make a move. Insecurity is a real thing. All of us will be insecure in one aspect of our life or the other. Okay? So you never know what insecurities the people you are married to, you never know where they're coming from. Okay? So, but anyway, let's play the video. You know, I see some people are coming in. Let me just do the needful before we continue. Yes, we're going to be playing a short clip back from YouTube/Wedding Africa TV. We're using this within the fair use guidelines. If you strike this video unfairly, you will have to answer to YouTube. So be careful when you're striking my videos. This is used within fair use guidelines. All right. Welcome, Chinye. Let's see. Before we get into the video, yeah, I do have the video. I promise I do. I do have the video. Okay, let's just go through the video. How about that? Before I start shouting out people. Okay. Let's see here. Let's get to it. Let's get into it. All right.
What can I do for you to divorce me? There's nothing.
Am I not supposed to answer?
All right. So in case you didn't hear that part, he was supposed to read a small note card that they give them to ask themselves questions back and forth. Again, it's a fantastic show. Go watch them. You will learn a lot from people having conversations than people preaching at you. Okay, including myself. You will learn a lot more from conversations. That's why we continue the Lola and Ola platform as a conversational platform between myself and my wife. You will learn a lot from listening to conversation because you can't really lie when you're having this conversation. At least the nuances will tell the truth, okay? At the very least, okay? So he says, what could you do? Let's see again.
There's nothing.
He said, he's a comedian.
What can I do for you to divorce me?
He said, what can I do for you to divorce me? He said, nothing. You know, it's a comedian. So I'm not reading too much into that. But I think it's a real moment. Okay, let me keep playing.
There's nothing.
Am I not supposed to answer the question?
You know there's the way we did it now, do that you say, oh, you divorce me.
Wait first, let me answer.
Answer.
So now, by the way, she wasn't able to answer more authentically after that point. Okay, yes, it's a joker, it's a comedian, but after that small pause, nothing, right? There's no way she will want to throw him under the bus. Women will always help men, okay, to a fault, okay, to a fault, okay. Most normal women, I'm not talking about the extreme toxic people that are trying to create content to drag all black men. I'm not talking about that. Most normal women will get to a point they hear men's story, they start having empathy for men. It's just the way women are built. Okay, gentlemen, we can't afford to buy too much into that, because the same women will drag you and shame you when you don't meet up to the standards. What's the standards? Society standards. Okay, sorry, reality. Okay, all right. So effective, like right now in this moment, she's going to attempt to help him, because I got called out already. Most women will help men, especially if they like you, and she's going to speak to that in a second too.
There's no good marriage that ends up in divorce. So we have a good marriage, so there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, divorce is not on the table.
What is she doing? She's mimicking. Yeah, divorce is not on the table, right? She's not speaking her mind anymore, right? Does that mean they were not in a happy place last year? I guarantee you they haven't really been in a happy place for a few years, okay? People just don't wake up one day and collapse a marriage. That's not how it works. Contrary to the popular stories you will hear out there, somebody just woke up one day and wanted to take all of my property away. No. There's more to the story. You might not be capable of telling the story right now in this moment because you're caught up in your own emotions too, but there's more to the stories. There is more to the story. Doesn't mean you're guilty. Doesn't mean you're not right. But there's more to the story. Okay? So, but in that moment, they came to a show. They sat down on the couch where somebody's interviewing them. There's no way that in that moment that they're in a bad place. It could be, but they're not pretending. So typically what happens is that people will be in a good place, they'll be in a bad place. They'll be in a good place, they'll be in a bad place. Okay? One will overwhelm the other. Usually the good times are actually more. But the impact is actually the impact is actually more for when the negative. The negative is usually less amount of time if you're measuring in seconds and minutes. Okay? But the impact of the negative moment is much greater. The same reason why, negative news travel further. Okay? And if a partner, it could be the husband or the wife, if they're going through bad moments and stuff like that, every time they go through another moment of bad, they reference back to the last time, even if it's 3 months ago, and that's basically all they remember in that moment. And how they feel if it's negative has a greater impact. You have to be extra intentional to remember the good times and build on top of it. That's why I said look for the good times and focus on it, and just watch it expand. I'm not talking about staying in a position where you're being misused, okay, or abuse, right? You can pronounce that in English. You shouldn't do that, because if you're feeling that way, nothing good is going to come out of it anyway. Even if it's feelings, if it's verbal, emotional, even if it's feelings, last, it's not going to be good. So it's better to address that as soon as you can. If it's physical, you need to leave immediately. If you smell like it's physical, you need to leave immediately. If you feel like you're the one that's about to exercise some physical, then you feel like somebody's provoking you, even you especially need to leave immediately. Especially if you're mad, you might end up in jail. Okay, you might end up getting dragged on social media. Woto. Okay, and guess what? You will come around. You say, "Oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair." It's a bad idea, okay? It's already not fair, okay? So you're preaching to the choir when you talk about something that's not fair. When you enter romantic relationships, that whole pursuit of fairness doesn't work. It just doesn't work, okay? All right, but let's keep going.
Nah.
It's possible.
I like this guy too much. That's the thing. So.
Yeah.
What did she say? She said, I like this guy too much. That's real. Okay, she might think she's bantering a little bit, but when a woman likes you, you will get all kind of passes. She will protect you, which means she might not tell you how she actually feels in certain moments. Is that really helpful? Yeah, it depends. The day she decides to tell you the truth, she might just be done. And then you say, oh, like she just woke up one day, she just want to take everything. Yeah, right.
That kind of guy.
Okay, so how's the first 5 years
It was
been?
wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
It's how's the first 5 years going? He said it's wonderful. And she goes, really? Right? Ladies. Right? The truth is coming out in that really. What is she going to say after that? Let's see what she's going to say after that. I don't even remember, but let's see what she's going to say.
So you won't count all the times that you gave me wahala?
It was wonderful.
Wait. What did he say? He said something funny there. He said wonderful. He said he gave wonderful wahala. That's deep, but funny. But much more like deep. Wonderful wahala. Wonderful wahala. Hit that like button. Hit that like button if you're just coming in. Hit that like button. Thank you. I know you guys just finished the show on Auntie B's platform. Hit that like button. Thank you so much. Wonderful Wala.
It's been nice. It's been better than a lot of marriages I've seen, even the bad times.
True.
Yeah.
True.
What can I do for you to
All right.
divorce me?
So let's be fair. We're taking this out of context, okay? We're adding our own mix to it and stuff, but they said more than enough. But the question tonight is, should divorce be on the table or not? Right? Our answer at that point in time is not something I'm taking too seriously. She had to protect her husband and not throw him under the bus. That's what typical women will do. You know, that doesn't mean I'm not saying she was in a bad place. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that generally on a regular day, if she gets that small pushback, sound like a joke, which I think is a joke, I think she would like, yeah, of course it's good. Like, no, divorce is not on the table. But I'll tell you what, you know, go read my book. You will see our story inside the book. There was a point that suddenly my wife started saying things like, marriage is not a do or die. No happy woman is in a marriage and saying marriage is not a do or die. You see, the statement by itself, this is why we do Men of Prestige. We don't just run with words. Words are lame when it comes to emotional and romantic matters. Words are important. No, you are lame. Words are important only to a certain extent. People interpret words how they want to interpret it. So you have to dissect. You have to learn how to actively listen to what people are trying to say and not just, but you said this, but you just speak it bluntly. No, that's lame behavior. Okay? That's lame behavior in the real world. It might be good for YouTube. It might be good to get about 1,000 people watching you at the same time on YouTube, but it's lame. It doesn't change the fact that it's lame. Okay? You will never change the fact that it's lame. And if you're a follower of a platform where they say things like this and turn it to gospel truth for you, you will destroy your personal relationships. That's a fact of life. You can quote me. I say that anywhere. If you think speaking bluntly is the way to get through life, particularly when it comes to emotional issues and romantic relationships, you would destroy. It's only a matter of time. You would destroy your personal relationships with your own hands, and you will still be right.
Oh, you're right.
All right. So let me see what you all are talking about. That's what we're talking about tonight. By the way, I'm going to drop the link just in case. Okay, I'm going to drop the link tonight just in case. All right. So shout out to Wedding African TV. Wedding African TV, don't strike videos if you want your channel to grow. It doesn't make sense for the platform. People will go find you anyway, and people like me will shout out your channel regardless. Okay, don't strike videos. Okay, unless it's not being responded to properly. Like, let's say somebody just take the whole thing and just slap it on their, that's straight up theft. And by the way, keep in mind that YouTube has guidelines around that. If you do that unnecessarily, they will shut down your channel. All right. But shout out to Wedding African TV. It's called After 5 Years or something like that. That's the name of it. But let's get into what the chat is saying. Hey, Timmy T. I see you, Timmy T. Welcome. Let's lift the roof for Timmy T like we did for Uzo yesterday. They finally made it. Welcome to the party. It's never too late, I promise. It's never too late. So let me see. So I did watch the full show back then when they released it. But I don't really remember everything they said. But, I leave room for that. I might have taken them out of context, but I know he's a comedian, so I can't take what he says too seriously. But the question is that, should divorce be on the table? Should that be part of your discussion? That's the question that we're asking tonight. And I think I've added a little bit of nuance. When your wife, gentlemen, listen to me. If your wife is saying things like, marriage is not a do or die, she's not happy, get the cue. Don't wait until she say, I'm not happy. She might never say that. Okay? She might never say that in those exact words. She might say it in Igbira. She might say it in Igbo. She might say it in Eda. She's not going to say it as, I'm not happy. When she says that, it's probably too late. She's probably saying, I was not happy. That's a different story entirely. All right, and at that point in time, you don't collect. It's too late, you know. Hey, Glamola, welcome. Gracious grace, have fear. We all have fear. We all have fear. We just want to try as much as possible to understand that it's a form of emotion. Try to get a grip of yourself and try. Okay, I can't say you should just know why you're fear. That's not how that works. Okay, it's a process because it's an emotion. Okay. She said, I love that show. It's a good show. I did watch. I don't think they released anything in recent times. He said nothing answering for the wife. Now your question. He said nothing answering for the wife. Now your question. Oh, I'm not sure if I grabbed that. How significant was that question and the real reaction there? It has come to pass, divorce. Well, every wife will have moments that they are not happy. It's going to happen. It's just a reality. Why? Because life happens, man. You know, life happens. People go through stuff and they interpret it into like 200,000 Nollywood movies. And they watch something on YouTube, they think it has to do with them. They watch another thing on Facebook, they're like, maybe that was talking about me, and it's just confusing. And they have their own trauma, their own childhood trauma, and maybe the family they were raised in. You know, it's just it's tough, you know. So but in that moment, the answer she gave, right, it wasn't authentic. Not because she didn't want to be authentic, just naturally. The last thing you want to do in that moment is to throw him under the bus. And after all, he's a comedian. And he's also the kind of guy that seems like he's nonchalant, like everything is a joke to him. Gentlemen, especially if you're a jokester, you need to identify those times when everything is not a joke. Okay? It's one of a major issue that's very mild but creates problem later on. Like, oh, you're just joking around, but she's actually trying to be serious. Okay? Anything I say goes vice versa, by the way, just so you know. Okay? Timothy said, hi Ola, I'll catch up to the show tomorrow. It's quite late here. Keep up the good job, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you. Grace said they must have started the divorce before they announced it. Now, they could have filed a divorce 2-3 days before they announced it, but the actual emotional process that leads down to that starts years before it happens. But all of us, we know they listen. We don't listen. We're not capable of listening. Okay? The level of listening I'm talking about is not just that you're hearing a person. I'm talking about listening. I'm talking about beyond the words. Somebody say, are we supposed to read minds? I don't know what you want me to tell you, man. Or ma'am. Not read minds, but God damn it, the words are not enough. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Oh my God. Okay? The words are just words when it comes to romantic issues and emotional matters. People have more going on behind the scenes than what they're saying with their mouth. And if this is your husband or your wife, that means you have vested interest in making sure that you sustain that marriage. The longer you wait, if it ends up collapsing, the more you will lose, especially emotionally. The damages are almost irreparable. Okay? Let's see. This interview was too gloat. What an odd interview. Okay, so because it's a comedian, maybe you won't get any authenticity out of it. But we also know that we know from the rumors, I don't know that for a fact, that they have history of infidelity, of him having babies outside of wedlock, of them getting married because somebody got pregnant. People sometimes, they get pregnant, they get married. Okay? I don't think anything is necessarily wrong with that. I don't think you're necessarily better off if you don't get pregnant before marriage. I don't necessarily think that. I know a lot of people try to bring religion and say you're better off, to get married before. I do think, yes, you should get married before, because structure matters. In that sense, structure, order, and security that you put around the extreme level of passion that comes with Kerewa, right? I think it's necessary in that sense. But in terms of the inevitable crisis that comes to every marriage, no one is escaping it. No one is going to escape it. Okay. Wonderful wala. Yeah. Meaning problems for now at that point. These two people knew that problem was brewing and knew exactly where it could lead or going. They knew something had to give. Yes, I think there were issues at that time. Shout out to my brother, Sahil Speaks Network. Welcome, brother. Good to see you. I missed you on last Sunday, by the way. Shout out to brother Patrick. BASKETMOUTH is a joker. He is not being realistic. Well, that divorce is real now. Yeah, so I did think that there was some level of joke there, and when he's always joking, it's kind of hard for the wife. It's probably harder for the wife to also say what's really going on with her. And that show is not where that show is a place where they sit down, they put them on the couch with a mic with them, and they kind of put filters on too. Some realness comes out of it, but they put filters on, naturally, because they want to protect each other, all right, or protect their household in that moment. Again, we haven't answered the question. I need some more answers in the chat. Should divorce be on the table? Should it be an option? The church in particular, which is what I'm familiar with, they demonize divorce. The Bible says God hates divorce, and that's basically what is being peddled all over the place since I was born. So people, what would people naturally do if they were raised with that belief system that God hates divorce? They would try to avoid that, even if it means that they have to harm themselves in that process. Okay, but it's 2022, and I know that I tell people that they need a level of vulnerability in order to make a romantic relationship be sustainable. I know I say that. But you can't unknow what you know, right? It's 2022. You guys know so much. You read so much. I'm asking you to go download the book to read. But I try my best at the book to make it like just a normal day. We tried our best to. Storytelling, this is the lessons we learned. Every chapter. And we avoided big words. Big psychological words. But everybody knows so much. Everybody knows what the next terminology, what this means, what that. People are learning body language, right? So body language going is discombobulated. Because after you can read body language, you can read body language, you can read body language, you can read body language. Who is actually speaking the body language now? Since everybody is reading it, right? Wahala. Anyway. When I watched the full discussion sometime last year or so, it wasn't actually a bad interview. Like I said, the platform is really good. Even though they put filters on, you can still get some truth out of it because it's a conversation. Conversations are good like that. They bring the truth out of people. That's why I like Sahil's platform, because it's conversational. Like, they pull the truth out of people, right? No matter how much you try to put filter, some truth will come out. Like, for example, what we were just watching on Auntie B's show. All of that character, like people like getting emotional and all that stuff, that's real, right? Even though I would have loved that they push everybody to behind the stage and just engage that person so we can get the most out of them. They will filter too, but we can get some information out, right? But in terms of emotional characters, you get it when people are put into crisis, not when you fix it and makes it perfect. Not when you create safe space. When you create safe space, people can exercise their filters better, right? But when they're put in crisis, that's when you really know their real character. Okay? So that's why no one is going to know themselves outside of long-term relationships. Oh, I need to find myself first. Cap. Okay, cap. You're not going to find yourself.
Stop the cap.
You're not going to find yourself. What you're going to do is create unrealistic expectations, more of it. Okay? That's what you will do precisely. All right. Yeah. Did they strike my video? No. Only they didn't strike my video, but Gorex was warning me earlier that she heard people were being striked. I think she signed out since it is late on her side. Oh, you're talking about Timmy T. Yeah, I understand. All right. Maybe it's the bits Mr. Ola is highlighting for teaching purposes sucks for them. Yeah, that's no. I think Chia is responding to TBT stuff. When I listened to the bit yesterday, I caught myself as I was a bit annoyed that he didn't allow her to answer. Yeah, I think like I said, I won't over process it, because there's no one moment that becomes anybody's real life story. Let's be honest about that. But I think also there's an element of truth in that moment at the same time. You know me, I'm defensist, so so I think there's some element of truth there, which is the fact that naturally women will protect you if they sense any level of no, it is not fair for that man. They will protect you. That's not necessarily a good thing. The actual truth will not come out. The keyword is not necessarily a good thing. The keyword is necessarily. It could be a good thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. It might not be a good thing. Okay? So, why? Because if it happens to not be a good thing, who do you think is going to protect you? Who's going to tell you the actual reality of what's playing out? Her? No. She can't. Okay? If you fall short of the society standards that's expected in that situation, she'll be the first to shame you for it. Okay? In general, not her in particular, because she hasn't said anything, right? However, I watched the full show last year. I didn't see it that way. Yeah. The show will tell it. The show is it's a good show, like I said. Let's see. Yes, read in between the lines. Hey, life with not too good to see you. That's what I meant. They must have started the separation in the house for a while before they finally agreed to say it out. Yeah. Yep. And usually one person started it before the other person found out, like, oh shit, something is wrong. Right? Usually one person starts. One person usually dished a breakfast. I heard that marriages that break down start from halfway from the end of the marriage. So if it lasted 20 years, it started breaking down at the 10-year mark. I never marry, I just heard. Or there's some level of truth to that, except the number. The number, no one can tell the number unless anybody measure that, right? So Sahil, your channel, because of Allah, I'm reaping the benefits. Awesome. Yes, support Sahil. Thank you. Yes, divorce should be an option when the people involved are unhappy. All right, so thank you for saying that, right? That helps us add some context to the question, especially when mental, physical, and emotional abuse are involved. You are helping me add context to it. Maybe you came in a little bit late, okay? So the question is, when everybody is happy, and everybody's happy, right? Because if you're unhappy, like I said, when your woman is not happy, that's when she will say things like, marriage is not do or die. At that point, you should pay attention. Like, if your wife ever comes to you and say marriage is not do or die, she's having a conversation with you, marriage is not do or die. And it's not like you're watching a TV show where that's relevant to it, right? You guys are just having a conversation. Okay, go and find the video. It's on my channel. We were literally having a conversation. This was some years. Wait. No. That channel doesn't exist anymore. I lost some channels. Long story. Okay, I lost some channels that got big and I lost them. Long story. We're not getting to that. That channel doesn't exist. It was the previous show that we used to do. Okay, and it happened to be that last show, and we didn't do another show for another maybe 2 years after that. After we went through the crisis and then we dug ourselves out of it, right? And the last statement that actually became, she said, because it didn't feel right on me. And I was like, wait, I knew something was off. But I didn't know as much as I know today to address it properly, right? Marriage is not a do or die. We were even talking about something else, but I felt it. It connected. I felt like something is off. If your wife ever comes to you and she said, let's discuss divorce, the last thing that a happy woman wants to do is discuss divorce. Now, let me push back a little bit. People are reading a lot. People are studying a lot, right? That's why I said there's a certain level you get to when you're consuming too much information to start creating The fear we no day there before. Naturally, that should make sense to you, right? And they're like, let's discuss divorce. Or in fact, there are gurus teaching it. Let's discuss divorce so that we will know how to handle it when that happens. What do we do with divorce? Pastor Kingsley, Mildred, right? One of their rules, which is part of demonizing divorce, by the way, I love them, but that's part of demonizing divorce. Part of their rules is that divorce is never on the table. Now, if you've read book you're not going to listen to that, right? But if you're a normal person that you haven't gone through any kind of experience, right? Normal now, you just, you'll be like, yeah, so I can protect what is so good. Marriage is such a beautiful thing. It works by itself without good people, right? You like, as long as you call God into it, it should just work, right? Right? And then you'll be like, yeah, I align with that, right? But if you have certain level of experience, you're like, I'm looking for the nuances, the balance. Like, it makes sense to not start focusing on divorce, especially at the foundation of your marriage. It makes absolute sense when you're feeling good, when you are happy, right? But if you get into a space emotionally and you're not happy, instead of resenting that statement, that story of divorce should not be on the table, you will start resenting yourself in very subconscious ways because you feel like you're locked up inside. You feel like you're in a jail. You don't feel freedom and love. The real one that you're looking to use to build your marriage cannot exist when people don't feel free. So imagine that you feel like you're in a jail, but you're also in a marriage, and somebody say, yeah, but it's duty and responsibility, and you're like, damn, that's not how I feel. I feel like I need to run. I feel like my life is at stake, right? And somebody said, no, you're ever exaggerating, but you know what you felt. You know that you're feeling anxious, you're feeling anxiety. Like you wake up in the middle of the night and your eyes are like this, and you don't know what's going on with you, right? But you've heard the story that divorce is, and you're not even saying it. You can't even say it because you're scared of the D word. But your experience, your emotional experience right now is not a good one. And last, waiting go happen, somebody go collect. It's just not sustainable, right? Now, what am I saying? Or like, what are you saying? Or like, are you saying that divorce should be an option then? We'll get to it. But that's the context, Clementina. Happy people. Should they discuss divorce? And should that be an option? That's the actual question. All right. When mental, physical, and emotional abuse is involved, I think at this point, people are open. They're even open to Babalawo, even if they never believe in Babalawo. They're looking for solutions, right? So those people don't count. They don't count, right? We're talking about we want to build a future, better relationships, marriages, right? How should we prepare our mind for this kind of stuff? Should it be an option? Should it be on the table at all for discussion? We heard what BASKETMOUTH and his wife said. No. Nothing. Wonderful Allah, right? Nigerian culture, it is well. All is well with you. Go to God, right? Which I agree with, but going to God, prayer is a tool, okay? It's not the actual answer, okay? Prayer is not the actual answer, okay? Faith without work is dead. We all know that, right? So there's something you need to learn. Prayer is going to be very helpful with patience, right? Because patience and process. Prayer, PPP. Let me put that as a normal note here that we can use from time to time. 3 P's, right? Oh. They work hand in hand. You're going to need all 3 because you can't You don't have that level of patience that's required for this kind of stuff. You're not capable without prayer. Okay? So, that part. All right, so that's basically the that's the gist over there. Yes, it should be on the table and not for decoration. That's a good point. I can twist what you just said in all kind of ways, right? Because some people, they have the discussion, but they bring it up every time. They use it as a threat. They threaten each other with it, right? Well, they don't mean to threaten you. They're just bringing it up every time they watch another show somewhere. So like, that's why I say divorce should always be. If you keep saying that in front of your husband, that divorce is always an option. He's a human being, remember? Human mind, right? What will start happening? Right? Like even though it's clear you're talking about somebody else's story, but the human mind, right? It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful organ, right? If you keep every time they talk, you just decorate the thing on your table, like, oh, it's on the table, but we should. No, seriously. And then you're saying like, what are you talking about? The husband's like, why you keep talking about divorces, sir? And you're like, no, it's for real. It should be an option. And you're angry now, but that energy is going to be transferred to him, right? Tell me, what good can come out of that outside of the fact that you are right?
Oh, you're right.
That's a good point, Gorex. It should be on the table and not for deco. Write that down. I think that's a good one, actually. I'm sure God wants us to be happy. Yep. No, Mr. Ola, the Bible does give allowances for divorce once specific things have occurred. Well, there's only one thing. There's only one thing. And I think it's infidelity, right? There's more complexity to it than that. Please tell us the rest of it, because I think it's only infidelity. And majority of the issues that happen in marriage is not infidelity. Majority of the issues that can make a person feel not free in a marriage are not infidelity. I'm telling you, they're not. Okay? They're usually subtle things that, things like, I can't even tell my wife that I'm stepping out with the guys tonight. Like something like that. Right? All right, let's see. The mods, you can block any bad bots if you find them yourself. You can block them. Okay, thank you so much. So there is more complexity to it. That's why we keep having it. I agree with that part. That's why we keep having this conversation. I didn't like the fact that the lady wasn't given the chance to answer, but BASKETMOUTH was using jokes to prevent her from answering. It's a comedian. What do you want from him? Right? Ola, maybe you should just use spy for now. Won't your content be flagged? Did I say the other word? Yeah. I try to remember. Don't mind me. True, it's almost bandage if you're not open to your own happiness, even if that means divorce. That's why when people push against happiness, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with watering down happiness. Nah, marriage is not for happiness. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that statement. And I know that statement is also usually used to manipulate people into the ideology of duty and responsibility. Marriage and kind of like truth doesn't need people's help. Okay, what needs help is people's emotional centeredness in 2022. If people don't feel right emotionally, they're not even listening to what you're saying, or they will listen to you, but they're building the resentment, another form of emotions, over time, and then the damages is going to be even greater. Right? So I generally don't agree when people say marriage is not for happiness. I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Okay, tell me more. Oh, because it's supposed to be duty, it's supposed to be for kids. Marriage is not about career. Okay, tell me more. There's more to that story. Because even you yourself will be looking for happiness. You may not say them out in exact words like that, but you yourself, the whole point of what you're saying is to make yourself happy about the point you're making. It's not about what we're saying. That's why I pause. I take a second to pause in these things I'm saying. It's not about that. It's about processing it, while you're saying it, But that's not the end of it. How's the other person interpreting it? What results are you creating? Especially gentlemen. You can't get away with making these mistakes. I'm not saying, somebody was in the chat, I don't know what that person was like. Are you saying women get away with it? No, women collect in their own way. But gentlemen, your own collection might just end up in a court. You might end up in jail. The way you express your emotions for the most part is anger. You don't have the same grace. We don't all have the same grace. Okay? So let's be guided. Let's be guided. All right. So gracious greatness. Actually, I think it's more so God wants us to be obedient to his will rather than happy. Yeah. So while that statement is correct, especially me now finding out that you're a person of faith.
Oh, you're right.
When a person is going through it, they can't interpret it as correct. They're not capable of interpreting that as correct. What they're capable of doing is mixing what you just said with their experience, and a new product is created. And then when you start to see behavior that doesn't match what you're trying to achieve, what do? You go further down the rabbit hole. And then they resent you even more, right? Because why? Because you're right. You said God, right? They can't argue with God. Most of them are raised to also respect the name of God. What do we do with God? We start with G, capital G, right? The respect is utmost. It shuts down people's ability to try to reason, right? Because it's like arguing with a person that says there's no God. What does the Bible say about arguing with people that say there's no God? It's foolish, right? Is that what it said? Maybe not verbatim, something like that. It doesn't make sense. Ashiri, right? Something like that, right? I agree with that. But more importantly, Ashiri, don't argue with that's the reality, right? That's the reality we need to start paying attention to in 2022 and beyond. Human beings are never stagnant. They're evolving. Somebody said to me on TikTok, go follow on TikTok. Just find Men of Prestige on TikTok. Somebody said, is the world evolving or devolving? I say your choice. Your choice, brother. Not your choice. Not mine, right? You make your choice. However, the choices of the meanings you attach to the events happening around you will create consequences for you. It could be positive, it's negative. If it's good, keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to change it. If it's not working, maybe you should pay attention to something. Maybe you're missing something. Right? So, yeah. Anything outside of God is love. I think we should start paying a little extra attention to it, because everything else is religion. Okay? Why the hell would marriage not be for happiness? That's a good question. Next time you are around people that say marriage is not for happiness, ask them and see all kinds of interesting answers you get. Majority of the answers is designed to make them happy. Pay attention to their action, not their words, right? Would people rather be living as walking cops? Yeah, it's also unrealistic expectations of human beings. Human beings are not able to sustain anything that they don't find some level of fulfillment in. Now, some people would argue and say, oh, maybe what they should be looking for is fulfillment. Well, you're not willing to listen to that. Because as soon as they say, you're like, you already got to pee. And you're like, no, it's not about happiness. You're ready to shut their face off. You're not even listening. Right? So how can we even get to the fulfillment conversation if you don't know what they value from little moments of happiness? Happiness is for a moment. Yes, that's true. Joy is everlasting. Yeah, right. But I hear you. Semantics. Okay. Fulfillment. Yes. Purpose. Yes, I agree 100%. But you can't get to those things if you don't know how to listen to people. I believe that last is about fulfillment and purpose. When a man or a woman, okay, feels like they're in their purpose, they feel happy too. Go figure. Right? Go figure. Now, it's a process. Okay? There are going to be crazy times. There are going to be moments where you feel like it's not fair. That's why the pursuit of fairness, you will collect. Okay? The pursuit of fairness, you will destroy your personal relationships. The obsession with fairness, particularly, you will destroy, because there's just going to be more than enough moments of unfairness for you to point fingers at. And when you point finger, what's happening with the other 4 fingers? They're pointing right at you. You're spending so much energy on fairness, and you're missing out on an awesome experience of life and love, literally. Okay? Kerewa is the spiritual, holy sacredness of the marriage. Kerewa is at the center of the marriage, which is the only time biblically we are allowed to do so. Thank you, Jare. You know how that makes my heart go for joy when you said that. I am obedient to God, but not for people who do not respect. Okay. And more particularly when feelings comes in. I think this is a good time to play this video. Let me play this video for you. Speaking of obedience to God, how about this? Ladies and gentlemen, how about this one right here?
Baba, don't fight, oh, don't fight, oh. Don't fight, oh, don't fight. Baba, don't fight. Don't fight, don't fight. Don't fight, oh, don't hit him first. No, stay there. Stay there. No.
All right. We cannot mock God, right? Doesn't the Bible say we can't mock God, right? We can't mock God, though. I believe strongly in that. No matter how we shape our semantics back and forth, right? We can't mock God, right? I don't know if you realize what just happened there. Those are clergymen on the pulpit competing for who go lead service, who's going to lead the service. Obedient to God, go in the poto collect woto. What is going on with this young, old 60-something-year-old man? What do you think is going on? Oh, are you about to say it's the devil that used them? You know what? I agree with you, right? I agree with you that is the devil using.
You're right.
But that's not the end of the conversation. What else is going on? It's 2022. You can't hide under religion talks anymore. You can't, right? You can't. We need to get a little bit deeper into what's going on there, emotionally speaking, right? What did I say about how men express their emotions, right? This grown man, okay, who is going to lead the service? The name of God cannot be mocked. Let's not make a mistake. Even in the Bible, what was majority of Paul's letters about? Letters to the church. What was it about? Right? There's more to the story. Like you said, gracious greatness. There's complexity to it, right? But we're talking about it right now. We're talking about it. You know? So let's keep going. Especially if you live in the diaspora, yeah, unless there's medical issues when it comes to career. If there's medical issues that needs to be addressed, you know, we must consider human choices. We have our own individual wants, yeah, including learning how emotions work. For the longest, nobody talks about emotions because it wasn't needed. there was duty and responsibility, it was good enough. It was good enough because of the society we lived in. Today, there's more to it. There's more to it. People just don't ascend into taking care of duty and responsibility unless there's some type of tangible emotional value. Even a job that has paycheck on next Friday, they won't stay in it because they have options. If the emotional aspect of it, emotional fulfillment, is not taken care of. Moment by moment, we call it happy. It's called happy, moment by moment, yes. And there will be moments where you're not happy. That point should not be underestimated. However, the idea that we just discount happiness in any one of our conversations, it doesn't work. It puts people in a place where they feel like they're in jail. They can't express themselves to you. They can't really get to the point they're trying to make. Why? Because they're humans. If we're obedient to the will of God, we will be more than happy in the marriage because everything will fall in place. In fact, we will be joyful. That's a fact. The problem that makes this disconnect from what I was saying earlier is people's interpretation of the Word of God. You know, if you're interpreting the Bible like your select pastor from 1985, I can't help you. You know, you will have to fall on your face first. Boost. You know, and then maybe you'll be able to listen to me. Okay, but you will collect. You will destroy your personal relationships, especially a marriage, with that mindset. Okay, even the pastors are destroying theirs. Okay, there's more than enough pastors. You know, I might have to start bringing Pastor Chris, Pastor Okotie, Pastor Yakilo, man. Like, come on. All right. So, in response to you, it is God who gave humans brain to think and make changes to make their lives better. In response to Gracia, I beg, take them easy on my brother. I saw it and I was laughing. Our Yoruba church don't start. Hey. Why are you dragging Yoruba people in this now? Why? Don't drag Yoruba people in this. Oh. These people could have been Igbo people. Wait, is it only Yoruba people that go to Sele? Mostly, right? Why do they have a fake white Jesus painting there? God shall know our Africans in me. May God help us Africans. We have a long way to go. The next 50 years is going to be interesting when it comes to religion. Write what I just said down. The next 25 to 50 years is going to be an interesting thing when it comes to religion. You know. But let me warn you, Sha. Make sure you have personal relationship with your God. Make sure, okay? Do they have rota or protocol to follow me? Clearly, somebody is not obeying that, right? Somebody is caught up in their emotions, right? Somebody, listen, I experience this in church all the time. I'm a music director. You see my piano behind me, right? So this whole thing that, you know, one of the things I hate the most ever is keeping a roster of worship leaders. I hate it. Some of you are choir members. You can relate to what I'm saying right now. Keeping a roster so that other people don't feel left out. What happened to skills? What happened to what the psalmist said about skillful praising, right? What happened to, no, if they like what you're doing and they want to be on that stage, they will go and put in work in the shower. People are more concerned about the emotions and taking care of other people's emotions than getting results. That's one of our problems. Men or women are more concerned about satisfying their own emotional selfishness than, like, wait, what kind of results are we creating here? The result, gentlemen, the result is all that matter. Both in short term, all in short term, mid term, and long term. Am I creating a good result? No, my results are bad. I need to pay a little bit of attention. You know? So, go work. It no go work. Oh, wow. Shout out to Auntie B. That was a fantastic show earlier. She's texting me. I'm seeing the text, but we're going to have that conversation gently, properly, you know? But that was a fantastic show. That was a show that she just put on. Lots of lessons beyond anything that was said on that show. Beyond, but at the right time, we'll get to it. Anyway, so we got a few other things that I want to cover. Okay. My answer. Let me talk about my answer really quickly. Okay. Let me talk about my answer really quickly. Should divorce be on the table? I think self-awareness is key in that conversation. Self-awareness is key. I really love what Gorek said earlier. Let me find it. I should have pinned that. Why didn't I pin that? Jesus Christ. Self-awareness is key in this conversation. I want you to understand that when you're saying certain things in front of your husband or your wife with good intentions, you're not necessarily creating good results. That's the real lesson here. Okay? You're not, just because you're right doesn't mean you're creating good results. Okay? You need to pay attention to your tendencies to hog up onto an ideology and turn it to religion. Any ideology that's turned to religion will hurt you and will hurt the people around you. Religion by itself is not by a bad thing, but people tend to, the word abuse. People tend to manipulate or use it to manipulate other people. Okay? Let me see if I can find it. Can you please repeat it for me? What you said about... Oh, I found it. I should have pinned it. I found it. This statement right here. Yes, it should be on the table and not for deco. You can't be naive that good people end up in divorce court all the time. Good people on both sides. They are most of the people in divorce court. Religious good people. People that have solid, as far as they are concerned, relationship with God they collect woto all the time. Go check in the courts. Okay? Why do you think the data states irreconcilable differences? In UK they call it something unnegotiable something. It's the same thing. Irreconcilable difference number one. Why do you think that is? Because nobody has time to be getting to the bottom of why people divorce. Because most of them is not extreme situations that makes it to the top of YouTube charts. Like extreme anti-Osinachi story. Most of the issues in divorce court is not anti-Osinachi story. I'm sorry. There are good people that just don't know how to handle emotions. So you consuming all that information about toxic situation, like for example, the example we just saw on Auntie B's platform, you consuming all that information, there's a good chance you'll never find yourself in that situation. Because why? You are intentional. Your radars are up. You can see these red flags coming from afar. Right? You're probably not going to end up in that kind of situation. Your situation is going to come from a blind spot. Right? Your situation is going to come from a blind spot. Not from something you already know. See, the devil that we always like to blame everything for is wiser than what does the Bible say about the devil, right? It's not going to come to you from the standpoint where you can see everything from your viewpoint. It's going to come from the blind spot. If the business of the divorce court is only surrounding modern women who just want to be for the streets, or terrible men who are just cheaters, the divorce court will not be in business. Are you paying attention? They won't be in business. Sorry about that. Are you paying attention to what I just said, please? Right? Are you paying attention to what I just said? The divorce court will not be in business if it's just extreme, only bad people that end up there. They're in business because normal people like you and I will end up in divorce court. So how do you avoid that? Maybe you start paying attention to the sort of stuff. Yes, the toothpaste. Yeah, I know. It's terrible, but it's real, right? Little things like your wife saying, Marriage is not do or die. She kept saying that over and over. Maybe you should pay attention to something. Ladies, you keep saying things like, no, we have to discuss divorce. Let's discuss it. And you're like, you call it communication. No, there are deeper, you're not wrong, but there are deeper things going on. There are deeper things going on that you should probably pay attention to. There's a reason you're not feeling safe in that situation. You probably should open your mouth and have a little bit a deeper conversation. If that's not working, maybe you're scared of telling him how you really feel. There's a lot of women going through that, but then they end up doing it after they pull the trigger last, and then they'll pull the trigger, and then the man was still confused. Go and look at Tia Mowry's husband right now. He's confused. He's getting mixed signals because they took matching pajamas picture, even though they filed for divorce. That's going to send all kind of mixed signals to that guy. He doesn't know what's coming for him yet. He probably doesn't, okay? Because it's like the rest of us. We don't know what we don't know until we hit rock bottom. I don't know what his rock bottom is. Maybe he's there yet. Right now, it's going to be a process. He's going to need prayer, patience to help him get through the process. The 3 P's. Okay? The point of prayer is not so that God can come down magically and fix your marriage. That's not going to happen. Okay? That's never going to happen. Okay? No, it won't happen. Okay? The point of prayer is to engage your God so that you can give God time. You can give him the room to work his magic. You get out, you also disengage from the devil, because the devil will use you. The ideal mind is the devil's playground, right? You've heard that before, right? So when you engage prayer, it's also an exercise that you're trusting God, right? You all understand that trusting God is going to be a process, right? Right? And if I might add, you take away time to work on yourself, because ultimately you are attracting what you are. I know it sounds unfair. How can I attract what I am? That person is just evil. You see, I told you, you will collect. You will go and jump into another marriage and you will still collect. I'm telling you. Okay? Okay, that's how it's gonna happen. But let's get through some other stories here. Okay, there's a lot of men making these mistakes. There's a lot of women making mistakes too, right? Yes, I do feel obligated to say men also, women also, but whatever, man. Men, let me warn you properly. The divorce court was built for you, okay? All that money they are making in there, it was for you, okay? Let me just be honest with you, okay? Let's be straight up, okay? So you will need this, okay? You will need this. Ladies, you collect too, of course. Nobody is happy after this kind of events happen in people's life. But I guess everyone collects. The people that collect the most is the children. You're grown adults. You're grown adults. What do you want me to tell you? Right? You're grown adults. Right? You get to choose what kind of videos you're consuming online. You choose what your algorithms is sending to you. Oh, but I tried to clean it, it didn't work. Shut down the account, create another one. Whatever you have to do. You don't have to shut down that other one because you need to know what's going on, because this is a dangerous world. Okay? But create another one so you can consume some good stuff too. Okay? And you just have to be vigilant and make sure you use this account to watch good stuff and this other one to watch how people drag themselves. Observing a little violence every now and then is useful for you, so you can stay aware of what's going on in this world. People drag themselves. How dare you put my family through this? Shut your ass up. You're violent yourself. It's no wonder. I said I won't have an opinion. Let me stay on topic. Let's get to this other one here. Let's get through this other one right here. Let's get through this one here. Before we get into the next story, let me go ahead and pay a little bit of bills. Let's do that. See that.
What's going on?
Oh, not much. Well, actually, we disconnect the internet, and he got a little bit upset, and we're just trying to help, we're trying to be a family together, the teenagers in this time. They got a lot of friends. The friends that has a little bit things about life. We're trying to teach him to be a good citizen, to be a good neighbor, to be a good person. And then sometimes they cannot live without internet. He's a great boy, he's a good neighbor, he's always helping others, and sometimes, that's the parent.
So let me give you guys a little preparation here on what we're talking about right now. We're talking about parenthood. Parenthood is a part of it. Parenthood will make people destroy their marriages. If you don't agree, if you put your children before your wife or your husband, you will destroy your marriage. Listen to me carefully. Listen, I know you know this as a theory. I'm talking in practice, okay? In practice, your behavior, if you put your children before your spouse, you will destroy your marriage, okay? Parenthood is a big piece of the puzzle. If you want to have long-term relationship, you have to want healthy long-term relationship, which is the only thing that keeps a marriage together, not the marriage itself, okay? Not the duty and responsibility. It's a healthy relationship, the underlying relationship, right? If you want to have it, there's going to be some cutthroat ideologies that you have to be extremely religious with. One of them is your spouse. When you're happy, of course, not when you're already in the poto. When you're happy, your spouse comes first, not your children. But don't be wrong, you're missing the point. It's a war zone. In this real world, it's dangerous, okay? The devil is always looking for a cracked wall. Okay? The devil is not going to come down like an angel with dark clothes, okay? Sometimes, yes, he will use those damn kids, okay? But it's not really the kids, because some of you are sensitive to that. You're like, but they're kids, they don't decide. Okay, good. He will use that division, okay? He's going to have human beings. You have to use human beings around you to do the magic. So we're talking about parenthood a little bit, okay? Thank you.
The problem is with technology.
What's your son's name?
Eric?
Eric?
Yeah.
Could we go in and talk to him?
He's on the living room.
Hi there, are you Eric?
Yes.
Hi there, I'm Deputy Gabriel. What's going on today?
I don't know. My dad, he got mad over nothing.
Okay.
Yesterday.
What was the first statement he made? I don't know, my dad got mad over nothing. Okay? There are adults who talk like that. It's manipulation. Okay? How can people get mad over nothing? Okay? Even if you're an adult, it's either you haven't paid attention to why they're mad, okay? Or you are completely unaware of what's going on in your situationship. I don't know which one is worse, okay? The fact that, what's the first thing I said? I forgot what I said, but but I don't know which one of the two is worse, right? Either way, it's bad, okay? If a cop has to show up to your house, the police has to show up to your house, it's bad, right? This is a good time to call the spade a spade, right? If a police shows up to your house, right? Oh, my wife just called the police on me. Nothing happened though in all of these years. All right, I yield. Let's keep going.
Today, I informed my parents that today I wouldn't go out with my team because some of them are seniors, so we're gonna go out to like Phobia to meet up one last time because we're all gonna be doing different sports, so we're not gonna be in the same class anymore. That happened. Then I told my dad that, but they didn't tell me we were gonna go to a party, one of my family's party today, and didn't tell me that until last minute too. And so it bothers me because my dad, he's always telling me how I don't care about the family, how I just want to be with my friends, which is not.
All right, so it's safe to say that this boy is at least afraid. He's scared of the police, okay? Because there is juvenile, right? He's afraid of the police, okay? But he's clearly not afraid of his parents, okay? He doesn't have fear of his parents, as you say. I don't think your children should be afraid of you, but they should respect authority, okay? They should be afraid of the consequences of not respecting authority, not just for the parents, just in life in general, because even adults have to be afraid of authority, right? So let's keep going. Chinye said, who called the police? It could be the neighbor. Okay, I'll tell you a story real quickly before we continue this story. Something happened some years back. A neighbor, the wife came and knocked on my door. Bo, 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 bo. Please come, please come, please come. You know, my heart is like, what happened? Everything okay? Like literally next door neighbor. So I don't know if it's fire or anything like that. So we got properties, right? Please come, please come. So I went there. When I got there, I saw this. He was 16 at the time. The boy I'm talking about should be, I don't know, +7, maybe +6, +7ish. You know, it was no, it was a senior in high school, so it must have been 17, 18, right? And no, I think he was 16. He was like ahead of. He was a good kid in school, you know. But something happened between, and then he had his elbow like this on his father is a big guy, you know, kind of like my stature, you know, tall, you know, and big, you know, 5'11", 6'1" ish, you know. And this lanky boy, he was tall. The boy must be around 6'1" or so too. He was tall, but he was lanky, and he had whatever class they've put him to, but he had some kind of skill set. He had his hands on his father, pinned down. The guy could not get up. The father could not get up. So, and now I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Give me your hand. And then he was breathing very hard. And then he gave me his hand after like about 2 minutes of telling him to, and then he gave me his hand and he came out and said, hold on, boss, hold on. Because the guy is probably ready to slap the nonsense out of him again, right? I was like, just hold on. It's like, let's take a walk. So I took a walk with him, you know. Let me tell you something. Teenagers, okay, they have an idea of how the world works, right? They have an idea. Just think about everybody that have an ideology that they really truly believe in, right? If you lack emotional intelligence, you will collect in the area of parenthood too. So the boy took a walk with me and I said, what's going on? He said, but can I get my bag? I need to get my backpack. I was like, Mom, can you please get me his backpack? Gave me the backpack. Then we took a walk down the street. I was like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? I was like, he kept slapping me and I told him to stop. He kept slapping me. I told him to stop. He wouldn't stop. I was like, you see, you put a boy in class to learn taekwondo or whatever he learned, kung fu or whatever has gotten that skills from, that you couldn't get up, even though you are 3 times the weight of this boy. But you don't realize that you probably need some emotional intelligence, right? Now, that's what the boy said, but from what I collected, all that information I collected, he was telling me the truth. Especially that the mother was using her own mouth to say, no, he's a good boy, he's doing well in class. The father was just saying that he needs to study. That particular night, he said he studied and the father would not believe him. It's not black and white, you know. It's more of an art than it's a science. It's not an exact science. That's why I said keep coming, because after a while, some of these things will keep becoming second nature to you, right? That way, when he shows up, you're able to recognize it, right? But the point here is that these boys have an idea in their head, and when they are right, they do feel like they are right, especially in the Western world. If you're raising your children in the Western world, they are right.
Oh, you're right.
But that's not the issue. Let's keep listening to the video. Let's keep going.
True, because sometimes I ignore them to go with them. So I just cancel plans out of nowhere to be with them instead.
Okay, I'll tell you this.
No, this boy, I think they're Spanish or something. I couldn't really tell. But it's the same issues across the board, you know. Especially if you're raising your family in the Western world and in a Western way, okay? If your children can't speak a lick of pidgin English, especially, okay? Let's keep going. So who called the police? The neighbor could have called the police. I could have called the police if I'm hearing giddy 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 in my neighbor's house. That was the point I was trying to pull out. How could I call the police if I don't know what's going on there? My property is attached to theirs, you know? So let's keep going.
I was a teenager once. I wanted to do a lot of things that my parents didn't let me do, and it caused some friction between my dad and I.
I mean, with my mom.
Wait. How sweet is that to have a police come and he has emotional intelligence? There's a lame right now saying this police is pandering to this boy, that they should have beat the nonsense out of him. Okay? How neat is that? That a policeman knows exactly the first thing to say to this boy. What do I tell you about people that want to be right?
You're right.
You can't stop them from being right. You will fail. It's a failing strategy all the time. It's a failing strategy. It doesn't work. You're not going to create the result you're looking for, and all that matters in life, gentlemen, listen to me. All that matters is results. Not the one you use your mouth to say. The one that we may not have, we haven't seen it yet, okay? Probably because you're copying on the internet. We don't know. But the one you can look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, not the one you tell Allah on social media. The one you look yourself in the mirror and say, what kind of results am I creating? Is it good or bad? It's good. Then all you have to do is keep doing what you're doing. Why are you doing evangelism to the rest of us? If you have to be at the top of your lungs on how you'll get the result, there's a good chance that it's cap.
Stop the cap.
All right, let's keep going. Just a chance. Okay, some people are really that good.
We both try to talk it out, but it's hard to do with my dad. It's like, it's weird. It's like, you keep trying to tell me something, and I try giving you an answer to the question you gave me, and I can't do it because you keep asking questions, and every time I try to answer, they be like, stop interrupting me. That's what bothers me. I try to understand from his point of view, but I feel like sometimes he doesn't want to understand from mine.
Well, it sounds like there's a different style of communication that you use and a different style of communication that he uses. You're 15. You're absolutely right. Your dad is the one who's in charge.
What did he say? What did he say just now? What did he say?
You're right.
And I'm not shading people that they're right. The truth is that a lot of times you're right. It's just not enough. That's the point I'm making. It's not enough to be right. In the real world, it's not enough to be right. The police has the authority all the time. He can start, God forbid, bam, 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 that whole place, right? They will protect him. If you're not aware of the real world, they will protect him, right? But he's saying, no, you're right. But, and that but is not negating what he has to say. It's just that there's more to it. There's more context here. In 2022, how you raised children in 1960 does not work. It's not me saying you shouldn't use it. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. What did he say? That little boy said, every time I try to answer, he says, stop interrupting me. Should the father has the right to interrupt him? Yes, but the neighbor has the right to call the police when the noise is too much. All right? Let's keep going. Because some of you want to benefit off of a Western world, but you want to shame the Western world, so you can't wait just because you're not getting your way on how things are in the direction that things are moving. Let's keep going.
And here in the state of Texas, the family code says that until you graduate high school and you're of the age of 18, he is your care, custody, and guardian. It sounds like he's just trying to give you some skills, some knowledge, and some wisdom. Do you think you would be able to survive out in the real world right now?
What a fantastic question. What a fantastic question. Right? What a fantastic question. Do you think you can survive the real world? You know how long it took him to get to the question, the life skill question? He had to make sure that he's listening. Right? How do you make sure that people are listening? You make sure they feel heard. They need to feel like you're listening to them as well. Yes, feelings. I keep telling you, feelings over fact. That's a fact. All right. Let's keep going.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a job?
No, that's why no. I wouldn't
Okay,
get-
you don't have a job. Do you
I don't have anything to support myself.
Okay. He is looking out for you.
And all the problems that about it is for the internet. You try to tell me that I'm bad because I don't have time for you. But when I have a time for you, you prefer to be online, playing games or watching videos or something else. And this is the reason today, you know, when I make the phone call, it was very hard for me
Sure.
because I'm not fit and I don't want to get in trouble. But also, I want to ask for help, you know.
He work long. He's at work. At work. He go in her room, and I need family time, talking, communication. Not for this family. A lot of families break because everyone make by themselves. Work, kids and internet and everything.
My dad was an active duty Air Force officer, and he was not at the house for 2 or 3 weeks at a time because his service was required, okay? But he still helped me become the man I am today. Take a step back and realize you're in the most enjoyable time of your life as a teenager, and you'll never have those years again.
Yeah.
Does it kind of suck to not be able to go out with your friends? Yes. But your family is all you're gonna have sometimes.
Yeah.
When the rest of the world abandons you, you can always count on family. Put that phone down. You have to challenge yourself to get out of that comfort zone, okay? This is a perfect chance to build an incredible relationship with your dad. If you didn't have a great relationship a few years ago, acknowledge that it happened in the past and move forward, okay? He really does care about you. Make him an ally. Put him in your corner.
Make him an ally. That person you think is your enemy right now, what effort have you put into making them an ally? No, you're just blunt. We just shoot straight. Let's just shoot straight and tell them the truth. Suddenly, everything will be all right. At least you told them the truth.
Okay? Would you go shake Dad's hand, give him a hug? It's gonna be okay. There is hope. All right. So, Mom and Dad, it sounds like you've got a great son in Eric. And maybe he's just going through the normal teenage angst, but it sounds like he's on the right track. Keep on him. He's got a bright future.
Thank you so
It's
much.
nice to meet you, ma'am. Eric, thank you for speaking with us today. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to add?
Not really. I mean, I understand where they're coming from because like everybody talks out of anger, but I truly do know they expect like, not expect like they want the best for me.
All right. If you ever need anything else.
Look at the smile on that boy's face. Just check out the smile on his face in that moment, right? Just check out the smile on his face. If all you engaged with was the initial face he put on when he was trying to manipulate with all the ideas he had in his head, do you think you can walk through that process? Do you think do you have that level of patience to walk through that short process? It wasn't that long of a process like that officer did. Are you able to do that with your children, with your wife, with your husband, with your siblings? Are you able to do that? Or you are still thinking everybody just want to be a cheater and steal from you? Right? Anyway, let's keep going. I got one last one that we should cover. Let's use this last 9 minutes to cover this particular story right here. Because I think it will be useful for a lot of men. This will be useful for you. You can go follow this guy, by the way, and continue to observe him, and then come back here. Let's talk about it. Continue to observe, and then let's come back and talk about it, because I do think that he hasn't hit rock bottom yet. You know, he has some really life traumatic things going on, but you know, let's All right, welcome back. Let's talk about the LaTruth family. The LaTruth family. We talked about them a little bit here some few weeks ago. Let's take a few minutes to talk about them. Maybe about 7 minutes, right? This guy has gone through some serious stuff in life, which I empathize with. Sickness with himself. Like he's, he's connected to his God in that way. So that can be tough on anybody. So I want to make sure I respectfully say that first. But that may be the reason why he's acting erratic and he's not able to handle his family. The LaTruth family, they were popular on TikTok. They were showcasing their family. They were doing the lovey-dovey thing. But, after a while, the wife said she don't want to, but she did drag him online as well, So now he wants to save other men. I think it's a bad idea, okay? If you ever find yourself in a place where your wife, your husband, or your children call the police on you, it's very bad. Okay, you need to go and separate separate $400 or $500. I know some of you don't have it. You're like, what is Allah talking about? I'm sorry. Okay, but you need to go somewhere. Okay, you need to say, hey, this is my number. Call me if you need anything emergency, but I will not be available for the next 3 days. You need to take time off. Okay, it's just bad. Okay, it's very, very bad. And you just jumping onto the internet and trying to save the rest of the world. Will it work? You will collect, or more, you will destroy your life if you do that. Okay, it will get worse. Listen, but how can we learn from other people's stories? There's more than enough people that won't hear me. Trust me. There's more than enough people. Okay, more than enough people will still do what they have to do because that's the only way, or it's an outlet for them. Okay, they need to feel heard. Okay, but if you're not in harm's way, or if nobody is, like, for example, I understood the other lady that earlier, what's her name, Lisa. She probably felt like she needed some kind of freedom. I'm not talking about that kind of situation where somebody is holding you hostage in one way or the other. I'm talking about you're free, right? You're free from a physical standpoint, but you think I should go and teach other men, and you don't go through the healing that you need personally. This is not going to be a jump and pass type of let me jump through the hoops. No, it will make things worse for you. So this is one example of them. He's actually very popular online. He has he's an influencer. He has a huge following. People follow him. His name is LaTruth, the family, right? But the way he's handling his situation is working. It's not working. But here's a little backstory really quickly. How are you doing, Red Lipstick? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Please support Red Lipstick. She has some content going on there. She's a lady for marriages and, trying to get it right. So go follow her as well. Brother Patrick said that's a wonderful resolution by the police and the young man. Yeah. Let's talk about LaTruth real quick.
404-416-1389. Brianna Hampton.
She just pepper sprayed me. She just pepper sprayed me for no reason in my house.
I can't.
What did you hear just now? She pepper sprayed me for no reason in my house. What did the little boy said earlier? My father just want to for no reason. Do you see some kind of similarity there? Right? Now we know that this woman is not thinking right now. We could tell that nothing good is going on with her right now. Even if she's lying. A person that will find themselves in a space where they get on the phone, call 911 and lying against their own family, that's not a good thing. A person that's actually in harm's way and talking to the police is not a good thing either, right? So nothing good is going on. We can all agree to that, Abby. Okay, good. But what did he say? He said, for no reason. What? For no reason? Okay. I'm sure you're about to tell us more. Anyway, let's keep going.
Keep following me.
No, I ain't following you nowhere. No, I don't have a gun. You really doing this lying stuff again? I'm recording everything.
Please hurry.
Yeah, please hurry, because she's crazy.
Very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Okay? She said he has Ibon. He said, no, I don't have an Ibon. Somebody said, "Boy, she's wrong. She was telling a lie." It doesn't matter. You keep missing. This is Man of Prestige. This is Man of Prestige. This is the platform Man of Prestige. It doesn't matter if it's a lie or not. It's bad. That is what we need to agree to first. It's very bad. But what do people do in this situation? They keep fighting for who is right. Gentlemen, if you find yourself in a situation where your woman is lying to the police, what should you do? Should you run away? Well, with Oroibon, I don't know. I will say call your lawyer. Call your lawyer. Oh, hey. Call your lawyer. I don't know because I've never found myself that, but I know this much. It's bad. Just the idea that you think you can talk to yourself while she's on the phone and know you lying. Dude, you sat down there, you're saying you lying. I hope that thing is back in the safe if she's actually not lying. But anyway, when the cops is coming in, just do like this. Kneel down and say, no, okay. Black man, it's not the time to be right. No one cares. Allah, that's not fair. What do you mean no one cares? Oh Lord, I'm not sure. How can I communicate this better? Let's keep going.
Please hurry, she's crazy.
Thank you.
Please hurry up, she's crazy.
You're following him, you're following her around with the camera? Was that evidence? These people really think it's what people see with eyes only that create evidence. You ever did you listen to the what's her name? Johnny Depp story? And the Amber Heard? You put yourself in harm's way by following a woman who is lying at you with camera. You stay in a marriage where you feel the need to pull out camera.
No, I'm not. I'm upstairs. You downstairs. Do what you do. No, I'm not. Do what you do. I'm way up.
Do you think you really saying I'm not helps anything? No, I'm not. Justice said, Justice, I'm not giving out legal advice. Exactly. I'm not giving legal advice. Call your lawyer. All right.
Do what you do.
This is what happened to men that keeps playing equal with women. If you want to play that equality thing with women in your marriage, keep going. Okay? It's going to turn out badly for you. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to turn out badly for you. Okay? It's going to be too late when you decide to listen to me.
Refused to adopt her kids. She was angry because
This seems like an entirely different day altogether. Okay? What did I tell you? It's never the one event thing. Now, what is he still doing? He has a camera. This guy's in his head, he thinks he's collecting evidence. Right? Keep going.
she was angry because I refused to adopt her kids.
Be safe. All this is because I want to do some type of adoption. I see you keep praising all these men that do adoption. I'm not doing adoption, so you can take up.
What is she doing? She's throwing our clothes out. Some men now, the attention they will be paying, like, why is she throwing that? She's wrong for throwing her clothes out. She's completely wrong.
You're right.
I know you're right. But Kumata, doesn't matter. But that's wrong. Ola, you keep encouraging this behavior. You won't listen. You won't listen to me. We know that this marriage is already terrible. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get out there and try to help 100,000 men, telling your own self lies. And then you will jump into another relationship. You create the same results because it's just you. It's just you. It's just your shadow. It follows you everywhere you go. Everywhere with the everywhere you go, it follows you. You attract you. That's unfair, Ola. I know. You're right.
Oh, you're right.
All my money. I'm not doing that. No, they ain't. He don't do shit. No, he don't do nothing. And that's why you mad. That's why you mad. No, he don't do nothing. That's why you mad. That man married somebody else. That's why you so busted and disgusted right now. Yeah. Trying to look like her. Yeah.
So do you think people wake up one day and start throwing your clothes outside? There's a chance she could be crazy like that. Yeah. Yeah, there's a chance. But most likely not. Okay. Yeah, you could go tell that to the rest of the YouTube. That's just how it happened. Okay? That's not how it works. There's a lot that's been going on you haven't paid attention to. I would take this excuse from you. You were oblivious. You didn't know that she was going through a lot. Ola, you're exonerating her. What do you want me to tell you? That she's wrong? Okay.
Oh, you're right.
But your stomach her size for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. How you know? You watch all her stuff? You watching all her stuff? None of that is that's just making you look crazy. Let's go. Let's keep it coming. Yeah. I'll let that stuff sit there and go buy me all new shit. Yeah. I'll let that stuff sit.
See, Iwapa. You see how destructive that is? I'm gonna let all that stuff sit down there, go buy me new shit. The grass is greener on the other side syndrome. Am I hearing that? Or you're just gonna go buy yourself new stuff and pretend nothing is going on with my marriage? Let me just go buy new stuff, right? I got money anyway. Like, I'm gonna just go buy me new stuff anyway. Y'all lost anyway. Really? You sure? Are you sure about that? It's everyone's loss. It's everyone's loss. It's just bad. The point here is that don't wait until stuff gets this bad. Don't wait. You need to start as soon as possible. Yeah, even before marriage. If somebody is showing a certain type of behavior to other people and you're like, oh, I'm not on the receiving end of it, you're going to end up on the receiving end of it. Okay, because Yoruba people saw where the person you sleep with is the person you do cat fight with in the middle of the night. Okay, you sleep in the same bed with people, sometimes they'll slap you like that just because they're moving their hands. Okay, it's people you sleep in bed with that will do that to you. People don't come off the streets to come and do anything to you. It's people around you. So if you surround yourself with certain type of people, you might not be on the receiving end yet. You will end up on their receiving end. You know, let's go on.
Yeah, and if it get burnt up, then that's hundreds of thousands of dollars you're going to have to pay. Oh yes. Believe that. Keep them coming. Let's go. Stack it out here. But I'm going to get it all. Oh, yeah. I'm getting that. I'm getting that.
Yeah, I got one more small clip.
All the good men around the world.
I got this small clip right here. This is the gentleman that was filming all the while. D-Love says, some people pretend though. What about this moment that we're watching right now? Was she pretending? Right, let's say she has pretended for the last 18 years they've been together. I don't know how long they've been together. A few years. What about this moment? What about that moment she called the cop on you? Was she pretending at that point? I hear that a lot. I promise you. I understand where it's coming from. People change, they evolve. Yes, they do. Okay? They do. But usually, it's not just pretending. Pretending is like giving them unnecessary credits, by the way. Like they sat down there and they say, I'm going to make this person's life miserable. Now, that's basically a person that have decided to make their own life miserable. They don't care if they want to destroy you, but they're willing to make their own life miserable as well. That's a person that's basically said, I don't care. Right? That's an angry person. You can't give that person that kind of credit that they're pretending, that they're able to sit down somewhere and pretend like I'm a this. No. Like I keep saying, mostly good people end up in divorce court. Okay? Good people. Okay? Normal people. But when anger comes in, right? When anger comes in, anger is not your mate. You know? Gentlemen, unless you suddenly, which is a possibility, very, very little chance, that Somebody just woke up and decided to be crazy and pull out, if that happens, yes, pull out your camera and say, oh, everybody must know what happened to me. Yeah. But you are in a marriage and you watch things deteriorate unto the point where they call the cop and you still sat down there with your camera in your hands. That's reckless behavior. And your behavior is actually worse. Okay? Especially where children are involved, your children will collect just because you're reckless. What about her? Her too. Gentlemen, do you need me to say her too? Jesus Christ. Everything must be equal and balanced. There's no balance. Life, no balance. You know they hear. Life, no balance like that. You have to worry about what you can control. How you respond is all that really matters as far as you're concerned. You can't afford for people to give you an out or give you grace before you start to behave. Yes, you should give grace because that obviously will create better relationships for you. But setting that expectations for people to always be able to give grace, that's unrealistic. The moment you think you need grace is probably the moment that's weak for the person, for them to be able to do that. Anyway, if you feel the need to pull out camera, it's bad. Let's hear what he has to say last. He hasn't learned anything clearly. Let's keep going. This is what we call money misroad. When people that are not prepared for it make certain amount of money, they just misbehave. Okay, that's what happens.
This message is to all the good men around the world who's ever been through a situation like what y'all see me going through right now. When you are a good man, I'm talking about the best man a woman has ever had. When they're so in love with you, they'll create all these stories about you because they're angry. Now, it may have been something that you may have said or a way you treated them that they feel like you deserve this hurt because they're in pain because of it. Not realizing you didn't intentionally hurt them, but they're so hurt by whatever that action was that they'll intentionally hurt you. Women, we gotta stop doing it.
What did he say? They intentionally hurt you. Listen, even if it's correct that they intentionally hurt you, when you think of your wife or a person in your life as they intentionally hurt you, what should you do? Let's first of all start with what should you do? What you should do is destroy them. Okay, if somebody's outrightly intentionally trying to hurt you, really, if you're thinking straight, you should destroy them out of your life. Okay, but if you're not able to do that, there's more to the story that you're not getting to. There's more to the story. Why is that person in your life? Oh, the children. Oh, okay, all right, great. Let's focus on the children. Do you think sometimes you have to play the bigger person because of the value, the children? Yes. Should you play equal with her when she's not thinking about the children? Who's going to lose? You, because she's not valuing the children. You are valuing the children. You see the math? Okay? So then also, if you can't hurt that person physically when they're intentionally trying to hurt you, you will try to hurt them emotionally. When you think of your partner as intentionally trying to hurt you, what would you naturally do? You're intentionally trying to hurt people, right? That's why that angle is not always a good angle. Okay? T.D. Jakes said it best. He said wickedness versus weakness. Ask yourself, is this person operating out of a place of weakness or wickedness? If it's wickedness, there's only one thing you should do to wicked people. There's only one thing you should do to wicked people. Wicked people, they're wicked, right? But if it's weakness, then maybe you can apply some grace. Maybe to yourself first. Give yourself, like you're beating yourself up for no reason. This person is not thinking straight. When you think they're pretending or they outright want to hurt you, you're beating yourself up because you were like, why would a person that claims to love me want to hurt me? This goes for both men and women. Why would a person that claims to love me want to hurt me? That's the question that keeps lingering in your mind. So you find yourself, you stay in toxic situation. And then you try to blame all of modern women or all men that are scums for the same issue. And then you continue to collect. You continue to suffer. Because that's not really the answer. The answer is not that they're intentionally trying to hurt you. This is self-medication. It doesn't work. He needs to talk to someone.
Honest, man. But they're so hurt by whatever that action was that they'll intentionally hurt you. Women, we gotta stop doing this, man. When a man apologizes to you, let that be that and move on. Don't try to create havoc for their life. Don't try to tear them down because you made a mistake. Now this person don't want to be with you no more. It's two sides to a story. Fellas, if you've ever went...
There's no two sides to a story. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay? That's BS that we keep telling ourselves on social media. There's two sides to it. That's bullshit. Okay? It's not even three. Okay? Whatever number of people are experiencing that situation is that number of people that are experiencing the story. Not just experiencing it with visible eyes. If you told your mother has her own side of the story too. Because she's going to paint that picture how she internalizes it. How she imagines it, imagines the story playing out. That's how she's going to tell that story. And that story is real. Yeah. You see how stupid that is in the reality of things? In marriage, in relationship, in romantic, in emotional issues. It's a stupid statement we keep telling ourselves. There's two sides to the story. No, this is an excuse. There's multiple sides to the story. The only side of the story that matters is yours. You're telling us yours. It sounds like you're not taking care of yourself, bro. You're not taking care of yourself. You're obsessed with how other people behave. And you need to take care of yourself first.
Through this, stand up and talk about it, man. Good men are being silent too long in this.
Of course, it's good men. How did he start? He started with good men.
This message is to all the good men around.
This message is for all the good men. Good men always think that's the end of it. That's the end of be all. You will suffer without good men nonsense. I'm telling you.
Silent too long and it's not helping our situations with other men that's gonna go through the same thing. Do not tolerate this type of stuff, guys.
Do not tolerate. How do you not tolerate it? I asked somebody that question one day. How do you not tolerate it? You got to tell the whole world that this is wrong. The whole world is not involved. It's you that you're involved. It's your personal situation. Anyway. This is bad behavior altogether. Why? Because it's going to continue to create bad results. He's making an excuse for her. Yeah, it's confused. It's not a man that's sure of himself, you know. They are both idiots. That's a fact. You know? But she will get away with it. He can't get away with it. Let me say this. She might get away with it. Women don't always get away with it either. But in terms of the structures, the institutions, he can't get away with it. She might get away with that. She can't get away with the emotional trauma she will put herself through. She can't. And her children. Okay? But you know how that goes? You know? It's just not enough. Hit that like button. Thank you, Durrell. Good to see you, Durrell. Yeah, people get childish when this issues comes up. People get childish. Okay? But she should be an adult. No, stop the cap. Stop the cap. Everybody becomes a child.
Stop the cap.
Everybody becomes a child when this is happening. Everybody. Okay? Everybody becomes children. Okay? Basically. Oh, women are just children. Stop the cap, you know. Everybody becomes children in this situation. Okay? So the best thing is be aware first and then remove yourself and then re-engage because you do have more power than you realize, you know. He cried, baby. Oh, just there, you're wrong. Take it easy on the gentleman. Just Jay. The game has never. He probably thought I dragged him. Now, if he watches this, he might always think I dragged them. But I'm just trying to help them. This is not going to work out for you. All that playing equality with women is not going to work with you. It's not going to work for you in the Western world. Okay, and unless you're willing to move back to the village in Africa, then you're just going to have to play by some rules like everybody else. Okay, that doesn't mean you're becoming a doormat. It just means you learn the game. Game is involved. Skill sets are involved. Okay, the game has never changed. Ola, you know that. Yep, I know how it goes. It is what it is. Protect your children, your sons, by the way. Let them know that there's a difference between what do you call it? Equality of rights and trying to play equality in a romantic relationship. They are two different worlds apart. If you mix them together, you will suffer. Okay. Ola, I'm not sparing these nicks no more. You and other guys in the space has kept me off their heads. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, thank you so much for everyone who came out. I'm 17 minutes over time. I told you, this was going to be a fantastic session. Today is what? Thursday? Yes, I'll be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow Tomorrow's Friday, right? Yes, I'll be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow. So let's get it together. Join the WhatsApp group. Go to the WhatsApp group and join the WhatsApp group. It's at lolaandola.com/WhatsApp. Okay. And on your way out, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Let's tell the whole world. This is our baseline now. 35 people is our baseline. When we talk about you, we'll see 170 people. When we talk about the real stuff, no, I'm just kidding. It's all real stuff, you know. But either way, we'll show up here every day. Shout out to every single one of you. Chinye, D Love, Just J, everyone in the chat, Durrell, Gracious Greatness, all my brothers that are not listening. Anthony was here earlier. I saw an Anthony. Shout out to you, Anthony. Shout out to you. I love you all, everybody. I just want best for everyone, okay? And let's keep having the conversation. It's a conversation, okay? It's a conversation. Bring the smoke to the WhatsApp group. I said something you disagree with. I need to know. I need to know what it is that you disagree with, okay? If you love me, okay? I need to know, all right? So shout out to everyone. Hurt people. You need to take accountability. Yes. Yep. Everyone is taking accountability. It doesn't help to be pointing fingers. It just doesn't help, Shout out to everybody. Yeah. So hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.
What?